doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm fine.
Are you comfortable?
Yeah?
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's nice.
Got all this
Yeah, I thought I'd
ambience.
put a little, light some candles for you because I figured you're the kind of guy that would appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for thinking about me.
Well, tell me something about yourself. Everybody knows you're a gorgeous guy, but where did the looks come from? What's the... No, it's true. It's true.
Relax. I don't know where the looks came from.
Well, you're some kind of mix, or they came from your...
Oh, yeah, I'm Puerto Rican and West Indian. So...
Born and raised in New York.
Yeah, born and raised in East New York. I moved to Manhattan when I was 17, and, got into music when I was 16, and so everything really sort of changed for me at that point.
What was the change? What was the situation before you got into music?
And I was like really shy, and I was really unpopular in school, and just basically invisible to, people in general. And when I got into music, it gave me a voice, it gave me a reason to feel like I was a part of the human race, because before then I was just kind of like an observer. And now,
Is it, do you think now, looking back, something that came from yourself, the fact that you were, like you say, invisible? Was it, because now when I listen to your music, it comes across as, you come across as somebody who really knows himself?
I think, I think what happened to me was because I was like really such a nerd in school, and, didn't have a date for the prom, and, went through all those things, that all I could do, I had no choice but to read poetry and to figure out what was going on inside. So, I guess maybe that's probably why, and that's why I'm really happy that that happened to me, because I still feel that way. I don't feel very different, I think, even when we do shows or when I go places and people are aware of who I am, I just displace it to the music. I put it to what the music has done to create some sort of awareness or care in reference to me. So, yeah.
I don't want to really go on and on about the subject, but to me, it's really kind of unbelievable that you were the kind of guy in high school that nobody would notice, because it's not only, of course, your music is very important and that's how we got to know you, but your looks and the way you carry yourself are almost as important and how do you say it? Unmissable. When you're in the room, you can't miss Maxwell.
Thank you very much.
Well, I mean it.
I don't know. It's very, I'll show you some old pictures one day.
Maybe I'll understand.
But yeah, it was definitely, I was just very quiet. I'm pretty much like that still. Very quiet.
But you do know you're quiet, but it's not like you're insecure.
Well, I'm not a jealous man. Like when I'm in a relationship, I've never been a jealous kind of guy. But I think that insecurity does have a lot to do with why a lot of people who make music or artists in general strive to be more, because I'm always still thinking that I'm that kid in the back of the room,
But you turned maybe something that was negative into a positive thing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how negative it was to be quiet. I think, I think I was a bit advanced when I was younger, because being in high school was frustrating, because people were just into the physical more than they were on the internal. Exactly. Yeah. So I didn't have anything to talk to people about, because I was really religious at that time, and then I'm not really religious anymore. I'm more spiritual. I'm more inclined to a higher belief that kind of encompasses all religions and beliefs. So it's a strange thing that someone so quiet could be in the situation. I always say it to people. I always put it to the music. I think music changes me. It's like when I'm behind a song, or when I'm making something. I mean, it's the closest feeling to being kind of like God in some way, so. and I equate a lot of creativity to women as well, because I think women truly understand the idea of creativity because they're like a living embodiment of it, I believe, because they can have children, and I just think that personally, they come from a different place than men. And like men tend to come from like an egotistical place, and I'm not trying to
you're my
diss
kind of
men.
guy. I'm listening to him. Okay, this is one guy who understands what it's all about. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Thank you.
Is it?
I mean, I don't mean to diss men. Let me just get it clear.
No. Of course
I think men have a trait that is very necessary to creating the balance.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do admire what women represent a lot, because they come from a place of more emotional place.
Yeah. How do you, these feelings that you're describing now, how does it, that's something I've always wanted to understand, because I'm not into making music, and I don't understand how somebody can have like a feeling or a thought or an emotion and make it go around, and all of a sudden there's this beautiful song on an album, and it comes from somewhere. How do you go about translating your thoughts and emotions into the music, and not only doing that, but then at the end having to realize that it's, I hope at least it was for you, it's exactly the way you meant it?
I don't know, you know, it's like one of those things. It's like magic. It's like kind of asking a woman, how does she endure the hours of labor?
Mm-hmm.
You know, she just does.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like an
inner strength or upper something.
Something higher that pulls you through the process of creation.
But the thing is, when you have that comparison, the thing is that when you're having a baby, and I know because I've had two, you have to go through it, and then when it's done, the baby's there.
And then you look into these eyes and you can't believe it. Right?
Yeah, it's like, it's amazing. You can't explain it to anybody, so maybe that's what you're trying to tell me, that you can't explain the process of...
I mean, I can sort of, but I think that what it is a lot of beautiful things stem from pain, you know, from a lot of pain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that anything that is beautiful begets beauty itself. I think that a lot of things that you look at and you deem beautiful are things that represent a lot of pain.
But is pain a necessity then?
It's not a necessity, but I think that the only way that you can achieve paradise is by going through some sort of hell. And I think that, you know, even when you work out, you actually break the muscle so that it can build itself, and, you know, all those kinds of things that, like, a life is just the perfect metaphor for itself. Mm-hmm. In that instance. So it's like what women go through, you know, when I was growing up with all those weird feelings of being, you know, out of place. It's kind of
adjusted. Were you aware at that time that that's what you were feeling?
Yeah, I was, very much.
Because isn't that also, I mean, a lot of people can go through a lot of things, but they don't necessarily have to get the message, or, you know, or have to be aware of what's happening. There are so many people living in ignorance.
Yeah, I mean, but, you know, the thing that's great is I think that that's what art is there for. I think art is there to enlighten and teach people how to see things a little bit more deeper. And I think that's what's so great about music. That's why I'm so blessed, and I feel so blessed that I have the power of music. Because it's amazing, like, that I'm sitting here, you know, talking to you about something that I wrote, you know, in Brooklyn, or, you know what I mean? It's amazing. And that's the bridge. That's why I'm pleased that I can, you know, do anything to maybe help someone who's feeling the same feelings, because I think a lot of men feel like I do. I just don't think that anyone's truly expressed it. I mean, some people do. I mean, you know, I'm not like the only person that has a sentiment.
No, but you've done it in a way that was, you know, when your album came out, a lot of people said, like, yeah, he must be influenced by, and then along came all these names of the soul great, you know, the great soul artists and everything. But the more I listen to your album, and I listen to it a lot, I go like, no, it's not. I mean, for example, take D'Angelo. You can hear, you know, where his musical inspiration comes from, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you compare it to your music, I would say this is something that is so personal, so much. It's even as if you haven't even thought about it, and I mean it in a good way. You haven't thought about what you're doing. You just do it. And
well, I mean, I think that you know, that all the people who are doing, I guess, this sort of music, this sort of sound, I hope that it is personal for them. I mean, I went through something, you know, and I had a whole album ready that was going to be different and was going to be some other type of thing, and then I saw this woman, and that was it, you know. So
yeah, because it's amazing. The whole album is like it's like a story. It's like a movie about this experience that you had, and it's like a whole album with no weaknesses or nothing. So that, I don't know, I think it's, how do you say it, remarkable that you could write a whole album off of one experience like that. You could write 3?
Well, I had enough material to probably do that, but I just did it because I just wanted to get the demons out. Like, it's funny, when music came to me when I was 16, I mean, even though it was there throughout the course of my life, always peering around the corner going, Maxwell, whenever you're ready, you know, I'm here type thing. When I was in church and I used to play piano, and people found out that I could, you know, make music, I stopped in my tracks because attention was something that I wasn't used to, because all through my life I was used to, you know, people either making fun of me or, you know, just not even paying attention. So all of a sudden I'm, you know, hitting a couple of keys and everyone's just taking notice. So it was like, nah, I can't go through this.
Yeah, it's too much.
So, so then, I don't know, you know, it was one of those things that when I started making music at 16, it all just changed. It all just
turned your life upside down?
Yeah, it really did. All of a sudden, I had a voice. You know, it's really weird. It's really weird to describe. I almost equate it to being born again or something like that. Something really spiritual like that. Because the power of music was, I just felt it.
But, well, I have to, if that's the way it is for you, one could expect that by the time you get all the attention, you just